Good morning, Ms.Arce. We are Group 2 and we are going to be representing the gender topic. My name is Gab Gorgonio.
My name is Fear May Icagaramay.
Adrian Ramos, Bertrand Morales.
And I'm Lauren Pangilinan.
So, gender, etymologically, is the state of being a male or female. A gender is a subclass, a division of species. It's differentiated by social and cultural roles and behavior. In general, person concept of oneself as male or female is self-identified as a result of a combination of inherent and intrinsic or environmental factor. So, gender roles. A gender role is a set of societal norms dictating the types of behaviors which are generally considered acceptable, appropriate, or desirable for people based on their actual or perceived sex or sexuality. Gender roles are usually centered on conceptions of femininity and masculinity. It varies from society to society and can be changed. While most people are born either male or female, they are taught appropriate norms and behaviors, including how they should interact with others of the same or opposite sex. So, in conclusion, gender is socially constructed characteristics of women and men, such as norms, roles, and relationships of and between groups of women and men.
So, gender criticism. This approach examines how sexual identity of oneself affects and influences the creation and reception of literary works. Gender criticism interprets how an author's gender influences their writing. It can be reflected the author's belief about masculinity or feminism, or how the author feels about the opposite gender. Also, gender criticism is a connection of feminist literary criticism, and it focuses not just on women but on the construction of gender and sexuality, especially LGBTQ issues, which gives rise to queer theory. Gender criticism states that the power is not just top-down or patriarchal, a man dominating a woman. It suggests that power is not only on one side, never only in one direction, because it can be the other way around. Gender criticism. In the 19th century, many white women were pictured as angelic, ideal, and the angel in the house who protected men from the cruel world of commerce. The angel in the house, Coventry, Patmore's. But the certain view of women is a complete disarray given that we know from diaries and other historical evidence that white women could have threatened others, barbarically, or even be sadistic or murderous. Note that the 19th century is the time when the slave system in America is still going. Like feminism, gender criticism examines how gender is conflict with the notion of essentialism, the belief that women are naturally and fundamentally different than men based on their biological sex, that identities are deviant from the biological distinction between male and female, and constructionism, the belief that gender is not essentialist or based on biological nature, but is constructed through culture. So here's the theory in gender criticism. The queer theory is a field of post-structuralist critical theory that emerged in the early 1990s. It is a set of ideas based around the idea that identities are not fixed and do not determine who we are. Queer theory or gender studies is a relatively recent and evolving school of criticism, which questions and problematizes the issues of gender identity and sexual orientation in the literal universe. So, queer theory overlaps in many respects with feminist theory in its aims and goals, being identity that shape actions and thoughts, but rather a role that is performed. For the queer theorists, gender is a role that is performed, not a fixed identity that shapes your action and thought or of a person. It also challenges the notion that there is such a thing as normal because that assumes the existence of category for living. Queer theorists study the challenge the idea that these categories exist at all, but particularly in terms of sexual activities and identities.
Feminism and masculinism. Feminism and masculinism began with the feminist movement and were influenced by such work as Simeon de Beauvoir, The Second Sex, 1949, and Kate Millet's Sex Politics, 1971. They also published Sociology, Psychology, and Anthropology. Gender criticism. According to Robert Bly, the rights and needs of men and boys are being rejected by the feminists, but men has no intention or do not seek any rejection from the feminists.
Gender criticism approaches. Gender criticism today includes a number of approaches, including the so-called masculinist approach, recently advocated by poet Robert Bly. Masculism or masculinism may refer to advocacy of the rights or needs of men and boys, the adherence to or promotion of opinions, values, attitudes, etc., regarded as typical men and boys. This idea is nonetheless explained by the other slides by Lorland. Masculinity does not bash nor does it reject the feminist idea. It is a movement or an approach that has a certain bias to the male ideas. Feminist. Feminist critics believe that culture has been so completely dominated by men that literature is full of unexamined male-produced assumptions. They see their criticism correcting this imbalance by analyzing and combating patriarchal attitudes. This school of thought seeks to analyze and describe the ways in which literature portrays the narrative of male domination by exploring the economic, social, political, and psychological forces embedded within literature. The feminists focus on the hierarchy that gender inequality has assumed and made known, the unequal treatment society has viewed normal when it comes to males and females. Gender criticism approaches. Again, feminist criticism tries to correct predominantly male-dominated critical perspective with a female feminist consciousness. Other goals of feminist critics include analyzing how sexual identity influences the reader of a text, and examining how the images of men and women in imaginative literature reflect or reject the social forces that have historically kept the sexes from achieving total equality.
So feminist criticism can be divided into two distinct varieties. Okay, so the first one, feminist criticism, has explored on how authors' gender influences, consciously or unconsciously, his or her writing. Because as we all know, feminist criticism can be written by both men and women. It is concerned with woman as writer, with woman as the producer of textual meaning, with the history, themes, genres, and structures of literature by women. Another important theme in feminist criticism is analyzing how sexual identity influences the reader of a text. It is concerned with woman as reader, with woman as consumer of the male-produced literature, and with the way in which the hypothesis of a female reader changes our apprehension of a given text. Subjects include the images and stereotypes of women in literature and the omissions and misconceptions about women in criticism. So there is a significance of feminist and masculinist criticism to gender criticism. This because gender criticism is a combination of the masculine and feminine perspectives. We are influenced by the collective practices of institutions such as schools, church, media, and family, which construct and reinforce particular form of masculinity and femininity. So, in writing literary works in relation to gender criticism, one must be fully aware of in the perspective of both sides, which is feminism and masculinism, or else it will be biased and will be considered a feminist or masculinist type of literature. That's all.